So, welcome. I wanted to create this little webinar for anyone who is feeling stuck and who has been thinking about maybe um, considering creative coaching or creative mentoring and not sure what that entails. So, in my kind of journey to coaching or getting a coach, I have found that it's really important to kind of find out what a coach does and who would be the right coach for you, and if you even need a coach, right? So some people you might at different times in your life, and or you might not. So I'm just going to run through. It's going to be a short webinar and then answer any questions if there are any. So first of all, a little intro to me. I used to be a commercial illustrator and educator. I taught in college for a long time. And I also have a degree in counseling. And so I have kind of a long history of, and I was also a manager, a creative manager for companies. So I have a long history of working with creatives, working with kind of people starting out in their creative journey and helping them to move through into a career that's creative. And also in myself, I've pivoted a lot. So I used to be a commercial illustrator, and then now I'm a fine artist and a coach. So I want to start out with, why might you consider hiring or working with a coach? I know that for me, when first kind of it came into my mind was when I was not really happy with what I was creating. I kind of had this sense that I want to do something different, but I didn't know what it was when I was in the commercial world. I wasn't satisfied with what I was creating or the jobs I was getting or the type of work I was getting or the clients I was getting. So I hired a creative coach and they helped me to find my voice, right? And so there might be different reasons for everybody. So you might um, want to, like I did, kind of pivot in your career, or maybe you're going into, going from one career, like a commercial. I have a lot of clients who are in the commercial sector want to eventually pivot to having a full-time creative career, or maybe you have a creative practice but you're struggling to find focus, struggling with consistency in that creative practice. Maybe you have just a lot of interest, a lot of things that you want to do, and you're kind of lost as far as like what to focus on, maybe. um, Juggling too many things. Our brain can, especially now, there's so many options. Our brains can kind of be in a kind of spiral of all the options of things to do. And so, especially, I work with a lot of people who have ADHD and have a lot of interests, which is awesome. And so we, work together to find really what that thing is that we want to concentrate on now, what we're really passionate and curious about. For me, I felt like I was constantly abandoning myself. And by that, I mean, I was accepting jobs or things that even like relationships or houses that didn't really feel good to me, that didn't feel fun, that didn't feel like they aligned with me, but I would accept them and sort of abandon myself because I felt like, well, that's the right thing to do, or that's the practical thing to do, right? Or you're abandoning yourself by not fully jumping into your creative practice. So, that can kind of go two ways, or maybe you don't know how to fully do that. You don't know the steps, right? So, working with a coach can give you the steps to get your creative practice off the ground, to make you really feel like you're an artist, right? Like I can say that I'm an artist, I have confidence, I believe in my work. So a creative coach can help you to really um, believe in your work and stand behind your work and believe in yourself. If you're having a lot of negative thoughts, like like, again, like, I'm not an artist, or this can never happen for me. A lot of those negative thoughts, or my work isn't good enough, those kind of things. A creative coach can help you to get out of that negativity spiral, right? So our brains have kind of this negativity bias that keeps us in that negative inner critic mode. um yeah, and or you, like I said, you're pivoting to, you have this, I like to say it's like your intuition that's nudging you, something's next, but I don't know what it is. So a coach can help you figure that out. There are a lot of things that we are good at, you are good at, right? And as an artist, it might be creating the work, or getting excitement around the work, or thinking of ideas, dreaming. You might not be as good as at planning or creating systems, things like that for your business, or thinking outside of where you've been before. And so a coach really is there to walk beside you, to help you to dig into what is most important to you, right? So a coach should, in my opinion, should never really be telling you what to do in their, that's more like consultation, right? So or a consultant. And they're also not a therapist necessarily, where they're going to dig too deep into, you know, a lot of healing, or a lot of like deeper wounds. I do a little bit with my clients. I'm a little bit different in that respect, as I do dig a little bit deeper into some of the blocks, and I have a lot of tools to help remove some of the blocks that you're working through. But for the most part, a coach is walking beside you and is a mirror. So they are reflecting the deeper part of you, right? What I call your core creative essence. What wants to be expressed from you, and what is your best way of doing that, right? So we each have unique personalities. We each have unique strengths and ways that we do things. Some people might need a really rigid schedule. Some people might not. Some people work best in the morning. Some people work best at night. So really, like, a coach should really be digging into what how what wants to come out of you, and how is the best way to do that, right? And they have tools. I'm going to get into this. Every coach has tools in a unique way that can help get you there. So what most people don't understand about really getting to our goals, or reaching a place in your life that getting from A to B, getting from where you are now to where you want to be. Most people are like, they look at their life, right? And we look at our life and we go, well, okay, I want to be a full-time artist, but I can't do that because I have this job right now. I have this job, and it's, sucking the life out of me, and I don't have any energy to, put into my work. Or, I want to create this type of work, but nobody will buy it. Or I want to become, a real artist and be proud of my work, but, I don't have the money to invest. And so what most people don't understand is this is actually not a great way to go about changing our life, because our brain, actually, scientists realize, they know now that we actually cannot see the things that we don't believe are true, right? And so we have this that we're not conditioned to see, that our brain hasn't seen before. So there's one of the things that they use to show this is there was like a scientific experiment where they showed a whole bunch of people a video about a basketball, or somebody dribbling a basketball, and they were told to count how many times the basketball was dribbled. And then in back of the basketball person was a gorilla person in a gorilla suit, and they walked by. And most all of the people, because they were concentrating on the basketball, they couldn't see the gorilla. And so there's so many things like this where our focus is, um, it kind of puts blinders on us as far as what we can see that is possible. So a coach can help you, and other people too. They can act like a mirror of what is it that you actually want, and they can see for you the bigger possibilities and how to get there. So that's what I love doing with my clients, especially, is I love opening up to the possibilities of what's possible for them, right? And I know that my coach really did that for me too. So every coach has a different focus. So this is where we get into, how do we decide who would be good to work with? So every coach has a different focus, and some people, you could see on their Instagrams, like, make tons of money, make $1 million by next year, or what they're really focused on: money and mindset around money, and they might have a whole system in place, like their own system for how to get you there. Some people are really focused on mindset, right? So they're less about kind of the output. They know that you're going to get there, but they're more about mindset. And they'll, maybe do a lot of work around mindset, but not so much like, creating, I don't want to say practical, because mindset is very practical, but more of the stuff like the money person is maybe like reaching those money goals. So it's a little bit different than that. Maybe somebody would help you set up your systems, right? So you could get like a funnel, or set up your organization. It's more technical, right? So they're not going to work as much on the mindset part. Maybe somebody will help you launch a program, right? So they'll help you with marketing or that kind of coaching. Maybe somebody's more has more or more training around trauma. So they're help you letting go of your trauma, letting go of those kind of deeper um, beliefs and conditioning and trauma in your body, somatic things. For me, so I kind of do a little bit of a combination. I really focus on helping people in sort of, I guess, feeling stuck and pivoting in their career, or if they're just starting out in their creative practice or their creative business, in really getting them a solid foundation. So I really focus on getting to the core of who you are authentically, removing any of those blocks, and really getting to the core of what wants to come out of you, so that you're no longer listening to those voices of, I should do this or I could do this, but you're so secure in who you are, in your creative expression. And I feel like, and what I've heard from my clients is that that is my specialty. So I get to the core and of your authentic self, your core creative essence. The reason why I really strongly believe in this is because I have seen people who have chased kind of the formula, right? So I'll make you $1 million, and this I'm not bashing anybody, because I think that works for a lot of people. But and I've done it too, kind of chasing, like, I really wanted a formula for how to create my business, or how to set up systems or set up products. Like, somebody just tell me what products to sell, right? In order to make my business profitable. But what I found is that when you can get to the core of being able to listen to yourself, listen to your intuition, find out who you are and what you are really about, then you are, number one, super motivated. So this internal motivation kicks in, and you are loving your business. You're excited about sharing it. What you are creating from that core foundation of authenticity what you're creating is so unique. It feels really good to you because it's a part of your authentic expression, and everybody can see that you are excited about it. And that is where the sales comes in. And then I help you to listen to your intuition so that whenever you do hire another coach, like a marketing coach or somebody to help you sell, you're able to also tap into your intuition and say, okay, that doesn't really feel right to me. Let's do it this way. Or find your flow in how to create your business and your timing and how to create your business, because it takes time, right? So I really concentrate on that foundation and getting you in touch with your core creative essence and what wants to come out of you, feeling really good about that. So that's, you can tell I'm really passionate about it. That's where I get really excited. Um, so, I mean, just understanding that we as humans, we need each other. There's things that you're good at, and there's things that we need help with, and we're going to need people to help us at different times in our life, right? So there might be times when you need one of these coaches. There might be down the road you need another one, or time when you don't need a coach, and then a time when you do, right? And so, um, just considering, like, what do I need during this time in my creative journey, in my creative career? What is it that I need, right? And so, how do we know who to hire, right? This is like a really big one. And I think that this, for me, it's been something that I've had to really listen to myself about throughout all these stages. So I've hired people in that kind of what I'm talking about, that first initial stage of getting to the core of who I am and what I want to create when I was pivoting in my career. That was really important for me. And then when I was growing my business, I hired somebody to help me launch, somebody to help me create systems, right? And so I just hired a book coach. Oh, and I I spent the most money I've probably ever spent on a coach. But the reason why is because, and here's the core of it, is if you look down the road of what you want to create, what is it that's important to you, right? What is it that's really important to you? And what do you want to invest in yourself, And if you're struggling with, I don't know how to get there, we need help, and recognizing that has been difficult for me. It's one of my big struggles, and maybe it is for you too. But so recognizing that a person that's walking alongside me can help me to achieve these goals, right? That I want to achieve, and I'm not sure how to get there. So I hired a book coach. I'm super excited because honestly, the writing has been a struggle for me. I've found my flow in all these different areas of my creative process, but I have a lot of blocks around writing this book, and we're in the process of getting it published and writing it and all this stuff, but I know that I just know that I need to invest. And I've seen what that investment does for other people and for myself. And so, how do you know who to hire? First of all, like, where are you on that path, right? Where are you just starting out, pivoting? Are you in the place where you don't even know, like, you just have that feeling of something, I'm stuck, I don't actually know what I need? Or are you kind of further in your artistic journey where you already have your business set up? You already, you're just looking for maybe those systems or maybe support to get you to the next level. Where are you in that creative process? That's the first thing to look at. Most people who hire me, the number one reason why is because they vibe with me, for lack of a better word. They hear what I'm talking about. I talk about intuition. I talk about neuroscience. I talk about that strong foundation of finding your authenticity, and also growing a business in a practical way, right? So that's how they connect with me. So I would say, and also for me when I hire coaches, it's like there's a feeling of, okay, I think this person gets me, right? So I won't hire a coach that is really like a hard ass and is going to um say like, you know, this is the structure, there's no deviating from the structure, you have to do it this way, and then just has a real hard edge to them. Like, that's not me. I work intuitively, I work intuitive with my clients. So I need, in all of my doctors that I go to, all of my therapists, I need an intuitive connection. So I trust that everybody who works with me also has that, is kind of craving that as well. And so do you have but maybe you do actually really want somebody who's a hard ass and is going to push you, tough love. That's not me. I work with a lot of compassion, safe space. I'm trauma informed. And so who do you really vibe with what they're saying, right? Um, what do they talk about the most? What are the things that they talk about? And are those your values too? What do they specialize in? Like I talked about before, where are you in your life? Is that the thing that they specialize in? Is that the thing that you're needing? And so, yeah, I talk about art in this way of when we share the art that's from our most authentic self. Like if you think about your favorite artist or your favorite musician, you resonate with them, right? It's not just about the technicality of the art they make. There's an essence that is released or shared when we create our art. And a person that buys your art is resonating with your essence when they buy it, right? It moves them. It's the same with a coach or our friends, any relationship we have. And that is the gift that they have. Each coach has a gift, right? We all have a creative gift to share with other people, our community. And in a way, when you hire them, you're entering into like a relationship with them and they're imparting that to you. So I impart trust, self-trust, trust and intuition, this deep sense of authenticity to my clients, um, belief in themselves. Like that's what I give to my clients. But it could be whoever you hire, they're sort of imparting that gift, if that makes sense. So you want to really listen to yourself deeply in what you need. So, we can, from our mind, kind of like I did when I first hired my coach, I wanted her to give me like a plan of exactly what I needed to do in my business to make it, profitable. But what I actually needed was to step back a few times and get to that core foundation first, right? And so when you're thinking about hiring a coach, really go deep into what is it that I actually need right now. Um, so I'll just tell you a little bit about my work. What I offer is, like I said, this strong foundation of, getting you unstuck, where kind of going through all of those thoughts in your brain that are coming in. A lot of when I work with clients, a lot of times at first they have so many things that they feel like they should do or could do in their brain, and it feels confusing, and they're in this sort of state of like, I don't know what to do, right? And by the end of me working with them, they feel really solid, right? They've created a really solid collection. So I work intuitively and practically. So I create in my 6-month package, so working 6 months with me, we create an intuitive business plan. So we go step by step into, okay, what are your goals? I'm very practical. If I don't have a practical aspect, uh, I don't, it's not enjoyable for me. So I both work intuitively and practically. So I like to have at the end of every session, give you things to work on, but we work through this intuitive business plan step by step to create this vision of what is going to, how you're going to get clients, what you're going to create. And then a lot of times we'll work on a project like a collection. But if you're pivoting in your career, we'll also help you to take the next step, like finding a job that's really gonna, maybe a temporary job that's gonna help you get to the next place, where you can create more, a job that's not as draining for you. That's a lot of people have that intention, or finding clients that are better suited for you. So we work together to help you to identify what are the steps you need to get from A to B. And it's really exciting for me. I love it. I think because I've pivoted so much in my career, it comes very naturally. And I've also like my analytical brain has figured out how to make that work, right? And also how to really create a flow, be confident in your work, create a consistency in your art practice. So um, yeah, in my, what I usually help people with is either pivoting from a job or career that is their intuition's telling them is kind of over, right? To the next, maybe art-based career, more something that's calling them, or growing your creative business. So those are kind of my two things. So I have two offerings. One of them is a 6-month package, and we work together, 2 calls a month, right? 2 Zoom calls. We talk talk together about your goals, and like I said, that intuitive business plan and all the things that I have just talked about. That includes, I have a bunch of meditations, a bunch of worksheets that you can work through to figure out who are my ideal clients or my ideal collectors. um, how do I find a job that, if I have a day job, how do I find one that really gives me energy instead of draining my energy, right? What's my marketing plan down the road? So those kind of things are all kind of built in. I have uh yeah, a whole like kind of list of meditations. And then also you can contact me throughout the week on Voxer, which is a messaging app. So if you have any questions that come up, I love helping people throughout the week and being available for them. It's really fun for me. And I also do, if you are into the kind of more woo, the more spiritual aspect, I also do like channelings before every session. So I used to do this kind of just to see if we're on the same page, what your soul kind of needs, right? On a deeper level. And then I ended up kind of sharing it with people, and if people really love it and find it super helpful, and it's always very aligned with what they're going through. And so I have that little nugget there, if you're interested. But I always like to kind of honor wherever people are, in that, because I've been from atheist to whatever I am now, to kind of trying to hone my intuition. So I have that 6-month coaching, which I have found has been really beneficial. In what I see with my clients is when they really put all of themselves into that. And I know it's really a commitment, right? It's a commitment of time, it's a commitment of money, it's a commitment of trust. And I don't take that lightly. I'm like, it's really, when people sign up, it's, you have my full attention, right? I'm like this very responsible person. I don't take that trust lightly. And so, but what I found is when you make that commitment is that those people really grow so fast, so much faster. And I found this within my own life, is when I hire a coach, Well, I honestly, I wish I would have hired somebody for 6 months and made that commitment to myself, because it took me actually a really long time, longer than I feel like it should have. Um, but I know, so yeah, so I was kind of trying, I have this issue of, um, needing help, but not being able to accept it and thinking that I need to do everything on my own. So that's been a struggle for me in letting people help me, or thinking I don't have the money, to put into this. And so I can see that if I had, I would have probably gotten to where I am a bit faster. But everybody has your own timeline. We have to build the capacity to trust, right? And so I also have a smaller offering, which is a 2 hour offering. And that is, it's called my creative breakthrough session. And we basically kind of condense everything down into 2 hours, where if you have any blocks, we talk about that. We kind of create a little plan for you moving forward, but you don't have the support. And I find that really the support, and having somebody every couple weeks that you have to you who you're kind of like, accountable to, I guess. I don't like that word, but you're coming back and you're saying, okay, I did this, and it actually helps. It's like having a gym buddy, um, and somebody who's helping you kind of work through those blocks, because they don't go away usually unless you're kind of working on them, right? So what I found is the people who do the creative breakthrough, it's good. And actually, some people can just do that and then do on their own, kind of move their business forward. But most people kind of, um, I don't know, they struggle a little bit more to kind of put that foundation in place and move forward in a faster kind of timeline. But again, everybody has their own time, and I am all about trusting that kind of knowing. But again, we have blocks in our mind of like, oh, I don't think I can afford that, right? Or I don't think I can do that right now. But I would just ask yourself, is that a block that your mind is telling you based on your conditioning, or based on what you already um, what you've seen or felt, or those blocks that you have inside of you? Because a lot of times when we start moving forward, life supports us, right? That's my big thing. It's like life supports us when we start to move, because our intuition is asking us for something, right? That feeling of stuckness, that feeling of frustration, it's asking us something. So we have to ask, okay, what is it that's appropriate for me now? What is it that is really calling me now? Is it that 6 months? Is it that, 1 2 hour session? Check in with yourself and see, get honest with yourself about that. So yeah, so how, what to do to find a coach? I would say ask yourself, what do I really need right now? Like I just said, what stage am I at in my creative process? Do I need somebody? Am I later in that stage where I just need kind of somebody to help me, support me with systems and give me some ideas? Am I really solid in the foundation of who I am as an artist? Or, do I need that kind of work to move me through blocks to get me really set up for a foundation? Um, and then who do I resonate with, right? Um, think about, why you hopped on this call, or other people that you kind of resonate with, and then have a 20-minute call. Usually a lot of people have 20-minute, half an hour, 15-minute free call, or you can send them an email and ask them questions, and just ask them, chat with them, and see, ask them, what their approach is. Like I mentioned, some people have, a real down to earth, I'm going to tell you what to do and you do it kind of thing. Um, some people might be more like me, or more even free flowing, where they don't have as many goals. So really figure out what you need, and then ask them those questions. And I would really say make sure that they are listening to you. make sure that you feel that they see you, right? So a coach, we're all human. We have our off days, but I've been on so many calls with coaches who, they're just talking about what they know to be true, and they're not listening to me and me telling them what I'm feeling and how I'm working and what I want, right? And so they should be reflecting back to you those things, if that makes sense. And so listen to your gut, listen to your intuition, and really tap into those things. What do I need right now? Is this person resonating with me? And what's my intuition telling me? Instead of listening to my mind of like, oh, I can't do that because of this, or sometimes it's it can be, oh, I can't hire a coach because whatever it is, money or time or commitment. Or it could be, I need to hire a coach because I need them to tell me what to do, right? So, what's your intuition? Those are all things that our minds can be telling us. But what's your intuition telling you? Your intuition is your GPS that's guiding you because it wants you to express yourself. It wants you to be able to share your art. It's your gift to the world. It is your greatest gift. And that feeling's not going away, right? That little nudge of like, something wants to come out of me. Something, when I was younger, I used to go to the museum and I used to see all this art and I'd be like, it was almost painful. Like I knew that something wanted to be expressed by me, but I didn't know what it was. And so a coach can help us get there. Like, what is it? And now I feel really fulfilled because I know that process of how to go through that creative process of expressing what wants to come out of me. That little nudge, whether it feels like frustration or excitement, that's your intuition. And so helping with a coach can just help you to interpret that little nudge and get you to where you want to be faster. So thank you so much. I'm going to stop this recording, but I'll stay on the call if anybody has questions. Thank you so much. And you can hop on a call with a 20-minute free call with me. And it's totally free, and we can discuss either of those two options or what seems like it's right for you. So that link is in my bio or in the notes here. Thank you so much.